What up? What up? What up, Lions fans? What's going on, everybody, man? What's going on, all the real Detroit Lions fans out there? It's an exciting time for everybody. Andrew, I could hear myself. There's an echo coming from you, so you might want to put in headphones or something. But what's going on, everybody? I see Dolo Dynamite in the chat. Angelo, what's going on, everybody? Hold up. Yo.
Yo, yeah, I'm good. I don't know what happened, man. Was that me or you?
No, that was definitely me. My Wi-Fi was messed up.
All right, for sure.
I don't know. Hopefully you kept it going though. But anyway, everybody in the chat, what's going on, Steve-O? What's going on, Detroit? Detroit on Big Will. I haven't seen you before, but nice to see you. Ben Diesel, what's going on, everybody? Hey, it's an exciting time for Lions fans, Stafford fans, Rams fans. This is an exciting time for real because, we heard some news earlier this year that Stafford wanted to be traded. Can't blame the guy. He's done his time here. We drafted him. He's done everything he could. How many coaching regimes is he going to go through? How many offensive coordinator changes is he going to go through? And we're not really supplying him with the help he needs. It's been clear. And, we can't get it done with or without him. So honestly, I've been part of the people that the hashtag Free Stafford. I've been wanting him to go to a team that's a contender so that I could see him win so that all the Stafford haters can shut the hell up, And clearly, before we even get into the trade, just what this from me seeing this and seeing the excitement from all of the teams that were trying to grab Stafford, it just confirms in my mind what we've been saying about Stafford and what the other players in the league and coaches and actual professionals actually think about Stafford, not what media analysts say and not what fans and SOL fans say, because we're biased because we haven't had any success, right? So you want to pin that squarely quarterback's hands, but it's not the case. You don't see quarterbacks dragging teams with no run game, no defense, no offensive line help, and multiple coaching changes. You don't see quarterbacks like that perennially in the Super Bowl or anything like that. They're not contenders because they need a team around them. But let's and Andrew just told me I'm still choppy, so I'm sorry if my Wi-Fi is bad. I don't know what to do. But Andrew, let's get started, man. What's going on with you? And let me tee up this trade. I don't even know why I get started on a rant. It's probably because this group chat that we're in is going crazy with different
DSA going off, baby.
Yeah. So the trade was we're trading Stafford to Los Angeles for Jared Goff and 2 future first-round picks and a third-round pick, which is wild because many people thought that we were just going to get maybe a second-round pick or third-round pick for Stafford. And the Lions are going to get the number 7 pick. We already have 7 pick. They didn't, and they only got a third-round pick. Yeah, that's for this year. But in the next year, we get a first-round pick. And the year after that, we get another first-round pick. And, we swapped quarterbacks, Jared Goff. Andrew, what do you think about the trade? What were your initial thoughts when you heard that?
Yeah, so, being someone that's an old man, obviously, I was sleeping already. So I woke up to like 1,000 messages. I woke up to all these notifications. And the first thing I thought about was like, damn, we finally got rid of Stafford. And I'm reading through it, I'm like 2 first-round picks and a third. And
we didn't get rid of Stafford. First of all, we didn't get rid of Stafford. We freed Stafford. We allowed him to be set free.
Correct. Thank you for fixing what I said. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, damn. So I was someone that was pro not drafting a quarterback this year, right? So we got a bridge quarterback, and we got 2 first-round picks and a third. Most people, like you said, thought we wouldn't even get a single first-round pick for Stafford, right? We got 2 firsts given They're going to be later in the first round. But we also got a third and a bridge quarterback, So I was like, I'm happy about it, right? If you watch Goff, he has his ups and downs, but he's not a bad quarterback by any means. If anything, he's an average quarterback, which that's what you kind of expected as your bridge quarterback anyways. The only downside to it, honestly, that I'm really seeing is the fact that Goff's contract is so big and it's a lot of guaranteed money. So that's kind of a downfall, but we can always try and restructure it, And so I liked it, I really did like it because people were like mad that San Fran only offered 2 seconds and 2/3, which yes, our first round picks are going to be later on, but San Fran's seconds were going to be later on in the second round. So those are basically thirds, they're basically offering us thirds and fourths for him. And you go ahead and you get all this draft capital and you solidify a starting quarterback. Given it's not going to be elite level, he's not a Stafford. Everyone knows that, but you have a starting quarterback, which means you can take all this draft capital that you got and invest it into bigger needs, right? We need a defense. We're going to need some wide receivers. We have a lot of missing holes, right? You don't go ahead and get just 1 or 2 picks for Stafford. And now not only did you open up the hole at quarterback, but now you don't have enough draft capital to really do much with, So I was pretty happy about it.
Yeah. And TTV homie, I like that you're going up the chat with your questions. I could tell you're a passionate fan. We're going to get to your questions in a second. Just got to give our initial thoughts on the trade. And I think, Andrew, what you said is completely right. And I think that some people don't realize Stafford already asked for the trade. So regardless, we were going to trade Stafford, and we've seen what this team is without Stafford. We went 0-8 a year ago when Stafford was injured. And look, we don't have a solid run game. Swift it looks promising, but we don't have a run game. We haven't been able to protect Stafford at all. He keeps getting injured and he keeps getting sacked 50 times a year his entire career. Look, I mean, we knew we had to trade Stafford because ultimately what he wanted, and you don't want a quarterback that doesn't want to be here anymore with starting a new regime with a new coach and a new GM. So given that he wanted to leave, and we have to maximize whatever value we're going to get out of that. I love the trade. I love the trade because, in my opinion, if you're getting rid of Stafford, which was your one cornerstone of this team, you're going into rebuild mode. I know that Dan Campbell said retooling, Holmes said retooling, but really, once we said we're going to ship off Stafford, it's going to be a complete rebuild. So, in my opinion, in the next 2 years, we're not going to really be competitive because we don't have that cornerstone person on our team right now. We need to build that through the draft. So now that we have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years, that's going to give us a chance to rebuild this team with young, hungry talent. And even if Goff isn't that guy that is going to replace Stafford or make us a contender, even if he's not, in 2 years, his contract's going to be done. We could either restructure his contract and keep him as a bridge quarterback if we want to draft one later on, or we could cut him at that point and have no dead money in 2 years or 3 years. And then at that point, we will have all of that draft capital to build off of. So I don't see a problem since we already knew this was going to be a rebuild. I would understand if we were a contender right now and we were winning division titles, but we're not. Even with Stafford, we weren't. So without Stafford, we definitely were not. So I'm not upset about that at all. Andrew, do you want to add anything before we start getting into these questions from the chat?
Yeah, I see a lot of people keep saying that we need to take a quarterback this year with the 7th pick, no matter what. And I need to address this because this absolutely is bonkers. So your guys' logic is you have to get a quarterback this year. There's elite level quarterbacks coming out of this draft. Goff isn't good enough. You have to do this. Why? I want you to ask yourself, why would we go ahead and draft a quarterback this year when, one, there are quarterbacks that come out of college every single year that are quote unquote elite, great, the next this, the next that. 2, you have Goff for 2 years before the cap hit is nothing, which means you need to use him or somehow move him or restructure it. 3, if you draft a quarterback this year and he is not going to start, you are literally wasting him on a rookie contract, which is a boneheaded mistake financially. So to go ahead and draft a quarterback when you're not getting that top quarterback, that second quarterback, you're not even getting your pick of the litter. you're getting that third or fourth quarterback that's ranked. That makes no sense, right? You look at Burrow. Hold up. You look at Burrow. You look at Herbert, right? Burrow was not on the map at all. Burrow was not on the map before last year, right? So in a 1 year span, people can jump up the draft board, right? You look at Herbert. People were like, man, Herbert's not accurate. Man, Herbert can't do this. Now people are like, Herbert was the best quarterback so far, right? Up with Burrow. So you look at all these things, and the honest truth to it is that you don't know until they're in the league. You know, there's Jameis Winston went first overall. This man is playing for $1 million as a backup, right? Mariota, all these guys. There is no guarantee that this quarterback is going to do crap when he comes into the league. Then you put him into a situation that Stafford was in. No defense. Now we're not going to have wide receivers. What do you want this quarterback to do? Honestly, I want you to honestly ask yourself that. What do you want this quarterback to do?
I think what fans want is they want a young quarterback to sit there, maybe Jared Goff for a year or two, and do what, maybe Aaron Rodgers did under Brett Favre, maybe what Patrick Mahomes did under Alex Smith, But look, man, Aaron Rodgers, like that talent, I don't know. Like to me, like that talent and Patrick Mahomes' talent, that wasn't built under the year that they were sitting on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have that talent, you have that talent. So I'm with you, Andrew, but I could see why the temptation is there to draft a quarterback and have him sit under Jared Goff. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to find. See, and then there's people saying that these quarterbacks this year are going to be like phenoms, and they're like already dubbing them like future Hall of Famers. And it's like, yeah, you got to relax. Like I brought this up to you before we got on, Andrew, but like I was listening to the Detroit Lions podcast with Chris and Case. I love their podcast. But anyway, they said that they looked back at last year, end of January, beginning of February, at who were projected to be the draft picks. And the Lions' number 3 overall pick was projected by majority of NFL analysts to be Bradley Anae. Bradley Anae, the same guy that we passed up on in the 5th round to get Jason Huntley, who we ended up cutting off the practice squad. That Bradley Anae was projected to go in the 1st round, 3rd overall to the Detroit Lions. So obviously, Musk up draft significantly changed, and that happens every single year. Every single year we have this idea of who we like. Then through the combine, through the Senior Bowl, through pro days, through everything that leads up to the draft, we get a better picture of what rookies might end up being better pros and where they might fit on what team. So saying that Zach Wilson is going to be an amazing star, you just don't know that. You know what I mean? And you don't know who's coming out next year. It could be the next Tom Brady. It could be the next Peyton Manning. You just don't. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence, everybody's been high on him since his freshman year, and I understand that. But we're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? Like, that's already a done deal. So besides him, who else in the draft you say point and say guaranteed they're going to be a star? You can't. You really can't. And like, if you look back at prior years, you would have thought that maybe Jared Goff would be a star. You would have thought that maybe Carson Wentz would be a star. You would have thought that, like you said, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, they might have been stars. So, like, you just don't know. And we've seen other teams, what they've done in building a team completely from the trenches outwards, and then plugging in a rookie quarterback in a rookie deal where you can, in a closed cap league, you can allocate a lot more of your money to the defensive line, offensive line, linebackers, whatever you need. And you can plug in a rookie quarterback that is very good, but not, superstar level. And he can take you to that promised land or take you, to be a contender. Because we saw the project already with Stafford. Stafford was a stud. And when you don't build a team around him, we saw how far they could go. So unless you really think we can get somebody leagues above Stafford's level that could just carry this team to the Super Bowl, like, that's what you have to be banking on. And we don't see that throughout the league. You don't even see that with Patrick Mahomes. You don't see that. You don't see that with Lamar Jackson. Those two guys have amazing teams around them. It's not just them that they came into the league and are carrying these garbage teams.
Right. So I got to touch on something, so Dolo, I love you, man. We interact a lot. So you're saying, we're going to look dumb if we don't pass the quarterback. Here's my thing. You look at someone like Deshaun Watson, who everyone is saying, is a generational talent. The dude's amazing. What did he do with no team around him? What did they do with no team around him? Nothing. We are in the same position that he is in. If you have an elite level quarterback, you bring him in, what are they going to do with nothing around them? Okay, you need to have a team. And the only way to get that is investing your draft capital in the defense, in those pieces to get a well-rounded team, right? And for those of you saying there's no dual quarterbacks, coming out next year, how do you know that? You don't know that until the year is going on and you see how people play. You look at quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. These guys aren't known for their running abilities coming out of college. They weren't known for that, but yet they make plays with their legs every single game. You see Josh Allen running for 30 yards, 40 yards downfield. He wasn't a running quarterback, and now he's a dual threat quarterback, and every single year there's quarterbacks that come out like that. There's no such thing as a pure pocket passing quarterback coming out of college nowadays. It's not like there's Mannings and Brady's who they can't run. Quarterbacks nowadays are running in the fours. You know what I'm saying? You look at Daniel Jones. This guy wasn't no running quarterback. He's running 23 miles per hour, 80 yards downfield. The quarterbacks are more athletic now than they were when Brady, Breeze, and all these guys were coming out. So every single year from now on, you're going to see every single one of these quarterbacks being able to run. There's no such thing as a pure pocket passer anymore because those are extinct. Those are literally extinct. You don't see that in college anymore. So when I'm looking at it, I want to build a team. I want to be a Broncos. I want to be a 49ers. I want to have that type of team to where I can plug in an average quarterback and make it to a Super Bowl because that's what they did. Nobody can tell me Manning was great when they won the Super Bowl. Manning was literally.
I mean, look at what the Bucs are doing now. I love Tom Brady, but look at what he did against the Packers. Look at what he did, man. It's Tom Brady. He's amazing. He has experience, but it's not like he's a dual threat, amazing phenom athlete right now in his career. And look what he did. He threw 3 interceptions, but the team supported him and allowed him to win the game. So like that's what we need. We need to build a team like the Bucs, plug somebody in, rookie, more likely to be a rookie and win that way. I agree with you, Andrew. And again, we're not saying look, me and Andrew are taking it from the perspective of we're rebuilding now. Given that Stafford's gone, we are rebuilding. So this is not going to happen in this next year, regardless of if we get a quarterback in the draft or if we stick with Goff or if we cut Goff and go with, go get David Blau again. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Regardless of who we have, we were 5-11 with Stafford. You know what I mean? So unless you're getting a guy that you truly believe is going to be better than Stafford, 33-year-old Stafford with that much experience under his belt, I mean, what rookie is going to be better than him and even so much better than him that they're going to take a 5-11 team with Stafford and make them a divisional winner? You know what I mean? It's just so unlikely to happen that you just know we're in rebuild. So whether you get the quarterback this year or you get it in 2 years, great. I mean, whatever. But in my opinion, the trade is a good trade because you're building for the future. And now you have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years. That's huge. And an extra third-round pick this year, and it's one of the third-round picks, I believe, that we gave to the Rams by hiring Brad Holmes because of that new Rooney rule. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy that the Rams are okay with trading all of their draft capital because I think it's going to be very beneficial for us. And listen, we're not like the Rams. We're not a team that's like a destination city. Everybody wants to play in Detroit. No, nobody wants to come play here, man. Nobody wants to live in the Midwest when you can live in Miami, you can live in LA, and you're a superstar, 20-year-old with unlimited money. You know what I'm saying? Who the hell wants to come to Detroit when you could be in a club in Miami every night? So all I'm saying is, the Rams can do their own thing because they could attract free agents. They could get Ndamukong Suh to come there, whatever, and they could, live with trading away their draft capital. Teams like the Lions, they need to build through the draft. So I think accumulating this draft capital while we're in this rebuild is very important.
Yeah.
But I do know we have a lot of questions in the chat, so I do want to get to them. So throw your questions in the chat now. So I want to get back to these TV homie questions because you had a lot of questions. So he was asking, are the Lions going to get the number 7 pick? And then he was asking, so we don't have the number 7 pick, and so we only get one player in the draft. So, okay, so let me just clarify on what the trade was, okay? We already have the number 7 overall pick, the Lions, because we sucked this year, right? Besides that, okay, we got a 3rd round pick this year. Next year, we get a 1st round pick from the Rams. And then the year after, in 2023, we get another 1st round pick from the Rams. So 2 firsts and 1 third this year. 2 future 1st round picks, 1 3rd round pick this year. And we swapped quarterbacks.
You know what's great about that, too, that people aren't really realizing is that all that draft capital is coming pretty much next year, right? Which means that we have a year to eat all these crap contracts that we already have. It literally allows our front office to eat Jesse James' contract, eat, Goff's contract, eat Trey Flowers' contract, eat all these guys' contract, Justin Coleman, all these guys, like, so that when we finally have all the draft capital, not only are we going to have all these rookies that are 1st rounders and this and that, but we're going to be 1 year ahead in terms of that cap space, which is better than having it now and having rookies that we were going to have to pay later on top of all this cap space.
And guys, what another thing about, like, you guys are so worried about getting your rookie quarterback. We did bring in John Dorsey. It's John Dorsey, right? Yeah, Jack Dorsey is the Twitter CEO, right? I always get those 2 names confused. They're so similar. But I think it's John Dorsey, the one we got. Anyway, yeah, we got John Dorsey, and again, he was involved with the Packers when they selected Aaron Rodgers. He was the GM of the Kansas City Chiefs when he drafted Patrick Mahomes. And people want to put a negative on that, say that wasn't his pick. Well, he was the GM. He did pick it. You know what I mean? He listened to whoever, and he did pick it. Or if he was overruled, he was overruled. I'm sure he learned from that. Regardless, he was the GM when they picked it. You know what I mean? When you're a GM, you get the credit for the picks, and you get the blame for the picks. So listen, he picked Patrick Mahomes. He was there when they picked Aaron Rodgers. Who else? He was there as the GM for the Cleveland Browns when he picked Baker Mayfield. Yeah. And now he was with the Eagles when they picked Jalen Hurts. We don't know how Jalen Hurts is going to be in the rest of his career. He might be a stud too. So look, man, like we brought him in. Clearly we want to evaluate the young quarterbacks. Brad Holmes was the, executive of college scouting for the Rams. So obviously he knows how to, scout for quarterbacks, even though he was involved in the drafting of Jared Goff, and they did trade up for that. So that's kind of a knock on that. But what I'm saying is they're building a team to want to build this team. They're building a squad of executives to build this team from the ground up through the draft. And they know those concerns. But listen, when Stafford says he wants to go, he has to go. And that means it's a rebuild. But okay, TTV homie also asked, do you think we're going to trade Goff? No, I don't think we're going to trade Goff because who's going to look? The Rams had to give us those picks for us to take Goff's contract, right? So we're not trading Goff. That would be, if we did, I think that'd be crazy. we got even more draft capital. That'd be crazy. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I could see us trading Goff potentially if we were to trade him to like Jacksonville or something, to where, they have just so much going on that they would be willing. So we would have to give a higher pick. So it'd be like Goff and let's say a 3rd for like someone's 4th or 5th round pick or something like that, so that they would eat the contract, but get a little bit of draft capital just because they're in a complete rebuild. But I don't think it's going to happen, but there's always a possibility. I mean, you saw that with Brock Osweiler. You see that with quarterbacks here and there. But I don't think it's going to happen.
That would be so dumb. So that happened with Brock Osweiler because they felt like they were contenders and they wanted to get rid of that contract. So they gave up picks for the Browns to take that contract. And that's kind of what the Rams are doing right now with Goff. But we would have to do it to a team that's completely for us to want to do that, we would have to think that we're contenders and we need to offload this contract so we could bring in other players. And that's not where we are right now. Again, we were 5-11 with Matthew Stafford. playing. You know what I mean? So this defense, it was the worst defense in the league. It was ranked the worst in the whole league. That has nothing to do with our quarterback. So in a couple of years, these Patriots players that Patricia brought in, their contracts are going to be expiring. Jared Goff's contract is going to be expiring. We're going to be building in all this new draft capital, building our team out, and we're going to have a lot of money at that point, and we'll be able to make real moves, actually rebuild. Right now, we're kind of stuck with this Detroit Patriots regime and now a Jared Goff contract. It's not going to happen this next year. Like, we just got to get over that fact. It's not going to happen. Look, maybe we could pull together 8-9 wins. Maybe we could squeak into like the wild card. But this team, how it's designed right now, I would be floored. I would be shocked to my core if we could win a playoff game with this team as it is constructed right now. I just really do. Is there any questions that you're seeing? Is there any questions that you're seeing on here that you want to address right now?
I mean, there was a bunch, man. People got mad questions. You know, someone said something about, I think it was like taking a wide receiver or something like that, you know, and for me, the great thing about the front office people that we brought in is they're not going to go ahead and invest a crap ton in Kenny Golladay. They're not going to go invest a crap ton into a contested catch wide receiver, which I am fine with. You don't need someone that is good at contested catch balls, right?
Bro, why are you labeling him like that, man?
Bro, because he is.
He's more than that.
All right, stop. I don't want to hear it, bro. That's what he is good at, okay? We are literally like...
He's elite at that. He's elite.
I don't care if he's elite at that. That doesn't make you... Look, I'm not even getting to that. Hold on. I'm not even getting Listen, we literally ranked I'm pretty sure we were dead last in terms of separation by our wide receivers, right? Which means it makes a quarterback's job a lot harder, right? So what do? You go ahead and you draft guys that are really good at route running, okay? You look at Cooper Kupp. Who the hell is Cooper Kupp going to moss? Nobody, right? But he gets open. You look at Robert Woods, same situation. You need guys that are speedy, that can route run, and they got hands, right? And you don't need to go spend a fortune on it, you know? So I like the fact that we're going to have a completely empty wide receiver room. I loved Marvin Jones, and I do really like Golladay. It's just, it makes the quarterback's job harder. You know, there's times where I was like, oh my God, Stafford has protection for 4 or 5 seconds. It's a miracle, but nobody's getting open. You know, so what does that protection do?
And that's rare. That's rare that he actually gets that time. Usually, if he does get that long of a time, the refs are going to call a holding call on Taylor Decker.
Right. You know, so you look at that and you're like, well, what good does that do? Right. So now, you know, you look at this draft and everyone's talking about, you know, this is going to be a great draft. There is hella wide receivers coming out in the draft. You look at the last couple of years, the amount of wide receivers that are coming out that are just amazing in the first couple of rounds is crazy. These guys are good at route running. They're speedy. They got good hands. So I'm excited, man. I am excited. I hope to God we don't spend a first round pick on it, but that's the beauty of now that we have 5 first round picks is if you really want to, you can spend something flashy on a good wide receiver in the first round, you know, next year, the year after, something like that. And that's why it's so nice to have all these higher picks. You'll have your pick of the litter of different positions, you know.
Here's the thing. Okay, so you see the comment on the screen by Funky? First of all, what's up, Funky? It's good to have you in the chat. Obviously, we love you. We're always talking to you. You're always in all the chats. We love you. But you know, look, year 1 he sits. Year 2, you know, if Goff he could play. A lot of fans think this way. It makes total sense to take a quarterback this year, have him sit. No, Funky, I'm with you if our executives believe that we can get the guy that we want at number 7, right? Like, if Dorsey and Holmes and everybody really believe in Zach Wilson and he falls to 7, or whoever and he falls to 7, then fine. You know what I mean? Have him sit or whatever. But I think what me and Andrew are saying is, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't believe that they have the guy in the 7th pick overall. Maybe those guys are already drafted, or maybe they just don't believe in those guys because they've seen more information than we have. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, and we build out the rest of this team first and maybe draft a quarterback in 2 years or something like that. Because to me, even if we get Zach Wilson, I feel like this team's just not there yet. And, especially with a new GM, new coach, we have these expensive Patriots players that weren't they're not Dan Campbell's guys, not Brad Holmes' guys. So are we going to draft a quarterback and like declare him a bust because the team is bad? Or are we going to, as a fan base, are we going to chant SOL as soon as he loses 10 games because the team is garbage? That's my big problem. Like, I don't understand what would be the problem with drafting a team, building a team. There will be more quarterbacks in a couple of years or in 3 years. And then we can plug in one of those guys at a rookie deal. Because look, if you get a guy now, maybe Zach Wilson is good. Maybe he's really good. And we have him on a rookie deal now. But then in 3-4 years, once we get rid of those Patriots players that maybe Brad Holmes doesn't want, I don't know if he does or doesn't, but maybe he doesn't, and we get rid of those guys, and we finally dump off Jared Goff's contract. At that point, we're going to have to pay this new quarterback, this rookie quarterback. So it's kind of like we skipped that opportunity of having a good quarterback on a rookie deal, and we're going straight to having a good quarterback on a good quarterback deal, which is like highest quarterback in the league type pay. You know what I mean? Like, right. We see it every single year when a quarterback gets paid. So I feel like you're missing that opportunity if you draft a quarterback now. But if it's the guy, if they believe that's the guy, this is the next Mahomes, this is the next Matthew Stafford, or whoever you want him to be, then I'm with you, Funky. But you don't just, in my opinion, you don't just draft a quarterback because you need a quarterback. If it's not the right guy, you don't do it. You've seen how many quarterbacks the Browns have gone through.
Oh,
You've seen how many quarterbacks, almost every Jacksonville, the Jets, the Bills, how many did they go through before they got to Josh Allen? Like, just it's look at the Rams, how much they wanted Stafford, right? And other teams, they said a third of the league was calling for Stafford. And we got 2 first-round picks for Stafford. And he's 33 damn years old. You know what I mean? and that's how confident these coaches and players and GMs are in Stafford, even though he hasn't won a playoff game and all of the things that we denigrate him for. So in my opinion, like, I don't know, unless you really believe in that quarterback at number 7.
Listen,
then, yeah.
I got a couple things to say because there's multiple things that you said. I'm like, man, I got some good points to make. You look at all our front office people, and they have connections with the Rams, the Browns, and the Saints, right? What do all those teams have? They have well-rounded teams. The freaking Browns were the top 3 in terms of Super Bowl contenders before the season started from Vegas. Why? Because they had wide receivers, they had elite-level running game, they have Myles Garrett, they have playmakers across the board. You look at the Saints, my man, who I love more than anything, Drew Brees, was playing like shit, all right? He's older. He's not getting it done. What did they have, though? They had a well-rounded team. They had wide receivers. They got running back. They got a great defense, and that's why they were contending for first in the NFC. You look at the Rams. They have an amazing defense. They have a run game. They have a couple receivers, and they were contending, right? The commonality is that none of these guys had elite level quarterback play. You cannot argue to me that Goff, Mayfield, Breeze, Taysom Hill, freaking Jameis Winston, any of those guys were elite level quarterback play, but they had so much in their supporting cast that they all went to the playoffs. Okay. Now I want to transition, right? You guys are like, well, let him sit. Let this quarterback sit. I swear to God, if you draft a quarterback and he has to sit, he is not NFL ready, okay? You should be able to get a quarterback in today's times where they don't have to sit. Mahomes did not have to sit behind freaking Alex Smith, okay? Rodgers, that's 15 years ago, right? It's a whole decade later since quarterbacks have to sit. A lot of the times these quarterbacks that come in, right then. Tua ain't it. Justin Herbert, man's got talent. He's got flash. Joe Burrow got flash. Right away, okay? And these guys didn't even have a freaking a preseason. They didn't have an offseason, nothing. And you could see the flash, right? If you're drafting a quarterback and you're saying he has to sit behind Goff, who you're also criticizing, just goes to show you that this quarterback ain't shit if he has to sit behind a quarterback that you're saying is bad, right? So I look at this and I'm just like, this makes literally no sense.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, I'm not going to say it doesn't make sense because if you believe in the guy, then he's the guy, right? So like there are levels to this. It's not like you can plug in any quarterback and that's it. If you have a good team, you're good. Like there are levels to this. Like you have Trubisky versus you have Stafford. Look, I mean, we did see with the Rams. Like literally, we're looking at the Rams doing it right now. They have the team there. They went to the Super Bowl with Goff. They still know they need a better quarterback. You know what I mean? They went out and got Stafford. So it's not like there aren't levels to this. So if you have that guy and you truly believe this is the guy, this is a generational talent, I'm for taking him. I know Dolo said we still have enough draft picks to get defense. I'm saying at 7, get the quarterback. Hey man, look, if Zach Wilson falls there and they believe that he's the guy, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him at all. But if they don't, I still wouldn't blame them. You know what I mean? Like right. We got to see how this goes. Just Jocks has a good question. He says, Brad Holmes seems like he's aggressive. What are the odds we package Goff, 2 firsts and 2 seconds in 2 firsts in 2022, 2 seconds, 2 firsts in 2023 for Watson? I believe it's in play here. That'd be crazy to me. I don't know. That'd be wild. That'd be wild. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know how that would sit with the fans, to be honest with you, because they blame Stafford for going 5-11, never winning a playoff game, whatever. They blame Stafford for wins and losses. If you talk to Lions fans, half the fans are in love with Stafford because they know that the team hasn't been great around him. The other half of the fans, or at least a section of the fans, don't like Stafford because they believe that the win-loss record is indicative of how good he is. So if you're going based on that, then you got to look at Watson, who won 4 games this year, and they're going to have the same mindset on him. Doesn't matter how good he is. What is his win-loss record? You know what I mean? So even though I don't agree with that, I like Watson. I think he's fantastic. I think Watson is a beast, and I think that coming out of Clemson, he was slept on. I like him a lot. I think he's amazing. I truly do. I love Deshaun Watson. So if we got him, but this is the thing. Like, we just don't have a good enough team to be a contender if you plug in a good quarterback. How much is Watson better than Stafford? I mean, he's in his prime. He has that on Stafford. And he's a mobile quarterback. He has that on Stafford. He can move around the pocket. He has that on Stafford. But how much better is he? That's hard to say. And would he be able to take this team, which was 5-11 with Stafford, to the promised land when he took his own team to a 4-12 record? I don't know. You know what I mean? That to me, it seems like a lateral move, and it seems like something that Brad Holmes, in my opinion, shouldn't do, because then that's limiting his time here as well. Because right now, what we're looking at, 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years. Clearly, we're rebuilding, and it gives him time. We have this big contract in Jared Goff. All the fans know that, we did that to get this draft capital, and we know that Stafford wanted to go. So we're rebuilding. So that gives Brad Holmes time to build this team the right way in his image. I think it would be a lateral move, not even a lateral move. It would be a downgrade because you are giving up even more draft capital than you received. So really, you'd be giving up even more draft capital and Stafford for Deshaun Watson when you need to build a team around a quarterback. And you would just be kind of switching a great older quarterback for a great younger quarterback. And how much marginally different is that? I don't know. And I don't think that would really be a good option for Brad Holmes. What do you think about that, Andrew?
You know what the definition of insanity is? The definition of insanity is knowing what the problem is and continuing to freaking beat the dead horse. Do you know how much of a SOL Lions fan type mentality it would be to literally go trade all your assets, all that draft capital for a quarterback? Right? That would literally be the definition of insanity, is to know that your quarterback that was playing at an elite level couldn't get it done, and to replace him with an elite level quarterback and get rid of capital without having a supportive cast. Okay. You look at the Texans and you look at the Lions, you can't tell me they're not similar in terms of talent, right? We have a better offensive line than them, right? They probably have the better receivers. I mean, sorry.
They have a better defense.
Yeah. They have a better defense, stuff like that. And they went 4-12, right? That would be literally insanity for us to give away 2 firsts, a second, and Goff to get Watson. Would I absolutely love Watson on my team? You bet your ass. I mean, this guy is literally a top 5 quarterback, right? I don't care. Everyone knows that Deshaun Watson is an elite level quarterback. But even knowing that, you can't tell me that the Texans and the Lions are not similar in terms of their talent. And they went 4-12. We went, I don't even know anymore. I literally blacked out during this season. 6-10. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback play is if you don't have a team. Okay. Now that just reverts me back to the fact that you cannot be mad at drafting players that are going to benefit the team as a whole. Okay. You look at the Lions, we literally allowed more points this past year on defense than we did when we went 0-16. 0-16. I want you guys to think about that. We literally had 40-point games scored against us, I think, 6 times this year. Our average points per game against us was in the 30s, I believe. That is, I don't care if you have Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, freaking Julio Jones in his prime, Randy Moss in his prime. You're not going to win if your defense is allowing that many freaking points. Okay? Our defense is allowing more points than the highest scoring offense in the league. The highest scoring offense in the league. No rookie's going to overcome that. No elite level quarterback's going to overcome that. The only thing that can overcome that is to build a team, you know? So as far as that trade scenario goes, I can't see it happening because fans would absolutely lose their shit. You know, yeah, we'd be happy we have Watson, but to trade that much capital would just be asinine.
What do you think about Lance? What do you think about Lance at number 7?
I look, I'll tell you right now, if we take a quarterback, I'm gonna lose my shit. I don't even care if Trevor. Okay, sorry, I can't even say that.
Yeah,
Trevor
I don't know
Lawrence
what you're talking about, man.
I'm taking Trevor Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Look,
I just can't take a quarterback at 7, knowing exactly what we lived through for the past decade with Stafford. The past decade with Stafford, we literally the entire time were like, get this man an offensive line, get this man a run game, get this man a defense.
Man, I disagree with that.
I disagree with that.
I completely disagree with that. I really disagree with that because look, if you have your guy, if you have the guy, you got to draft him, in my opinion, because you're not guaranteed to get another guy like that in the future. Like, I get that there's maybe a guy like that every season, every couple seasons. Trevor Lawrence is that guy this year. We're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. Like, you don't have a chance of getting that guy every year. So if that guy does fall to you, like, I know people are hyping up Zach Wilson, so keep bringing him up. I don't know too much about Zach Wilson. To me, Lance is not the guy. If you believe he's the guy, great. You know, he might be a really good quarterback, but to me, he doesn't. Again, right? Like, earlier this time last year, they had us taking Bradley Anae, who we ended up passing up in the 5th round. They had us taking him at the number 3 overall pick. So again, there's so much information that's not released and that we don't know, and especially after a COVID year, we're not going to have a combine. We're basically going to go off of pro days, which is inaccurate. So maybe Lance is the guy, but from what I've seen, I don't think Lance is the guy, to be completely honest with you, Steve-O. But we could have different opinions. That's totally fine. Yeah, Blue and Silver, he says it's a bad trade for the Lions compared to what they would have gotten. I don't know where you're getting that information. I don't know what they would have gotten. Maybe a first this year. I don't see how that's better than unless the first this year would have gotten us, a really high first round pick, but like who would have given us that? I don't know. You know what I mean? And the thing that we did hear about was the 49ers 2 seconds and 2/3. That's not nearly as good as what we got. And you saying that, we're going to be in cap hell. We won't benefit from this trade for 2 years. Yeah, I totally agree. And I still think it's a great trade because of that. Because guess what? In my opinion, we're rebuilding, man. Like, we're not going to be good for 2 years anyway. So, like, I'm not saying a tank or anything like that, but that's just the reality. When your team is literally built around these Patriots players and Stafford, and now you have new GM and new coach who don't really have any affiliation with these Patriots players, and now Stafford wants to leave, you're rebuilding. You're not going to be good for 2 years. Like, I don't know. I just feel that type of way. I feel like we're not going to be good for 2 years anyway. So I'm fine with eating that cap in exchange for 2 first-round picks that can potentially be elite talent in this league. And I don't think you would have gotten anywhere close to that value if you wouldn't have taken on Goff's cap. So I think it's fine that we're going to eat that cap and be in cap hell for 2 years. I think that's totally fine.
I gotta give you some pushback, man. So let me ask you something.
Okay.
You are of the belief that quarterbacks don't always dictate, success, right?
Don't always? No,
Yeah.
of course not.
Okay, so tell me why we would have to take the quarterback that we like when we all know that quarterbacks like Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Foles, Joe Flacco, even Jared
Why are
Goff.
you bringing up these guys?
Look, I'm bringing them up because these guys all went to Super Bowl, right? And they weren't drafted, like in that belief. It was their team that took them to the Super Bowl, right?
Okay, but dude,
So,
okay, that's
but
so. Dude, I don't care
it's-
about that point. I don't care about that point because look at the teams that are successful for 10 years. It's not those teams. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about successful, like continuously going to the NFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl. It's not those teams. It is the teams like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. You know what I mean? That have these quarterbacks that are the cornerstone of their team. Like all of the great teams. Look at them. Like look at no man, no. Like I get that that's a good way to do it. Like you build a team and then you have a quarterback on a rookie deal and you get to the Super Bowl. But that is short term, man. Like that is not. I want to build a dynasty in Detroit. I ultimately want Detroit to be the greatest franchise of all time. And that's obviously a fan's mindset. Every fan wants that for their team. So okay, sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So I actually have a question for that then. Follow up. So you're saying you want to build a dynasty, right? I want you to name me one team besides the Chiefs that have drafted their quarterback, like you're saying, in the last decade that have been able to have continuous success.
That have drafted a quarterback in the last decade that have had success?
Continual success, right? So you're looking at all these teams, and outside of Mahomes, none of them. And even before Mahomes.
What do you mean, man? What do you mean? Look at the good teams. Look at any of the good. Okay, look at any of the good teams. Okay, it doesn't matter when they drafted. Look at the good teams. Look at them. Okay, New Orleans. Always there. They've had Drew Brees for how long? I understand that they have a team around Drew Brees, but the fact is they've had their guy for like over, a long. I don't even want to say how long because I don't want to sound stupid by being wrong. But anyway, he's been there a long time. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Tom Brady, obviously. What am I trying to say? Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, always there.
You naming some old quarterbacks, my dude.
What does that have to do with anything? They've been good this whole time. They're still good. Those teams are still good. But it's not like if your thing is right, why didn't they drop Ben Roethlisberger and just draft a rookie on a rookie deal?
What do you mean if my thing is right?
If your theory is correct and these quarterbacks don't really matter, why didn't they just drop Ben Roethlisberger and get a quarterback on a rookie deal?
They could. I mean, look what happened. Ben Roethlisberger literally halted their offense.
Okay, but you're saying name teams. Okay, I can name you more teams that have been successful for longer with a quarterback than you can name me teams that haven't.
I'm talking about in the last decade, bro. You're going back 20 years.
Dude, no, I'm not. These teams are good now. These teams have been good in the last 5 years. These teams have been good in the last 10 years. You can't name me these teams, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, Russell Wilson, even though he wasn't drafted in the top whatever, it doesn't matter. He's been a beast on their team. They paid him, and they've been good since they paid him still. Like, I get that they're not as good because they had to get more money away from the Legion of Boom, and then that, dissipated, and they're slowly declining. But the fact is, they're a good team, and Russell Wilson is the cornerstone of that team. And that's with almost every really good team that's a perennial Super Bowl contender or, championship game contender.
All right. I mean, you're missing my point, but it's okay.
No, I'm not missing your point. I know your point. Your point is that in recent years, teams have been building a team and then getting a quarterback on a rookie deal, and that's been getting it done. But it hasn't really been getting it done for the long term. There's no like dynasties in place that just keep drafting rookie quarterbacks and plugging them into a good team because they keep paying those quarterbacks because they know they need to keep a good quarterback there as a cornerstone of the team to be consistently good going forward.
So you're very close to what I was hitting on, but slightly off, right? So I'm talking about the teams that, like the Rams, like the Bears, like all these teams that literally traded up in the draft because they're like, oh, this is my quarterback. Freaking Trubisky, bro. Freaking Trubisky. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying to trade up.
I know, but you're saying go get your quarterback, right? You look at the Browns, you look at the Lions. There's so much history to show that just because you think this is your quarterback, it does not always pan out like that. The amount of first-round quarterbacks that don't hit is so absurd that it would literally be asinine to not build a team before you draft a quarterback. I don't want to be stuck in that hell cycle. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the last 50 quarterbacks drafted in the first round, not many of them were elite level quarterbacks. Even the first rounders, I mean, not.
Yeah, I agree with you there. No, I agree with you. But regardless of if you take your quarterback this year or if you take him in 3 years, you're always going to run that risk. So that's what I'm saying. Look, we have Dorsey there who has shown success in picking a quarterback. We have, Brad Holmes there and obviously personnel there that are involved in the college scouting. If they believe that's their guy, regardless of if that's this year or if their guy's in 2 years from now, regardless, they're running that risk. But what you're saying is it doesn't matter, but it does, because you're not always going to be in the situation to pick the guy that you want. So, like, let's say this year their guy is Zach Wilson and they have an opportunity to draft him and they pass up on that. Maybe next year they have the 8th overall pick or whatever, and they can't get the guy that's their guy next year. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So, like, that's exactly what I'm saying. You're like,
I feel you. I 100% feel you, and obviously, quote unquote, the odds of getting who you want in the first round are a lot higher than the third and so on and so forth. But like a lot of the quarterbacks in the league right now weren't even drafted in the first round. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, again, that doesn't matter, bro. That doesn't matter to me. Because Russell Wilson or Tom Brady, if the scouts believed that those were their guys, they would have drafted him in the first round. You know what I mean? It just wasn't that didn't happen, but like those ended up being the guys. Like those are rare situations that panned out, like fantastic. But if we believe that Zach Wilson is our guy, or if we believe that somebody else is our guy, I feel like you need to take that gamble, because you're not always going to be privileged enough to have that opportunity, is what I'm saying. And yeah, I think that a good team needs to have a good quarterback, especially for long-term success, like dynasty level success. You need a good quarterback, and that's been proven, in my opinion.
All right.
Was Steve-O? Yeah, I mean, I think that's true, Steve-O. I think that's true. But I mean, Sue, yeah, I mean, he went for the money, but he also went for the destination, man. Like, okay, look, man, look, Stafford here, he was the face of Ford, right? He had Ford commercials, everything like that. You got to believe Dak Prescott, he was the face of like a million commercials. You know what I mean? That goes into account when you're thinking about a team. When Eli Manning was drafted, yeah, the San Diego Chargers, they sucked, right? But another reason why he wanted to be traded to the New York Giants was that he wanted to be the face of New York. And that worked out for him very well with sponsorships and stuff like that. And I mean, look, Kelly Stafford has literally came out and said how much he would love to leave the shitty weather in Michigan and go to LA. Like, we're like, people are people at the end of the day, man. Like, I'm a corporate finance guy, right? If I get a job in LA versus a job in Chicago, and the job in Chicago maybe pays a little bit more, you best believe I might be looking at LA like, well, it's really nice weather out there and it's really cool. You know what I mean? Like these are people at the same time too. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. They also look at where they can have success. But if you are, let's go with your, sorry, I'm going on a tangent now, but let's say NFL players don't look at the weather and don't look at the city, and they just look at where they could be successful. Then even more, they're not going to want to play in Detroit because they know how unsuccessful we are. So that just even further would go for, like, why would they want to come here instead of going to play for somebody like Sean McVay? But yeah.
Right.
All right. Do you see other, this chat, you guys are awesome, man. This chat is crazy. I'm like, keep scrolling. There's a million comments. I can't even read them all. If I skip questions, sorry.
You know what though? The greatest part about all of this is that the optimism is real. Like a lot of people may be mad that we have Goff, but we have so many first rounders now that, let's say you are a pro quarterback in the first round. That's great for you then. We have 5 first-round picks in 3 years, right? May not be this year, but maybe we do get a quarterback next year or whatever, or maybe you are pro trenches, right? And we take offensive tackle to shore up that O-line, help the running game out, so on and so forth. Or we do get Micah Parsons or someone, elite level defender, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of optimism surrounding the team now because we already knew Stafford would have left, whether it was this year, the year after, whatever. Before he came out saying he didn't want to go through, new coordinator and all that, we all knew he was not going to sign an extension. So the fact that we got picks and compensation for him is great. All of us wish Stafford the best, but it's nice to know that we're not going to lose out in Stafford and not get anything for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we finally did something right. We had Calvin, we had Barry, and we didn't get crap for them. They just retired. At least Stafford, we can go see this man have hopefully a successful career with the Rams, and we got stuff for him, So, like, it's a great time to be a Lions fan. And, like, as far as the offense goes, besides maybe an offensive tackle and wide receivers and quarterback, you're not missing everything. You have a young running back, you have a young tight end, you have 3 amazing offensive linemen. The defense, as bad as the defense was,
who are the 3? Who are these 3 offensive linemen that are amazing?
Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, and Taylor Decker all played at elite level this year. All 3 of them. Right, so we're missing a guard, we're missing a tackle. I know you hate to accept it, but bro, I don't even care.
Accept what? I'm not. I didn't accept anything.
I know. but then you look at the defense, right? We don't know what Julian Okwara can do. I personally still think Danny Shelton's a really good nose tackle, right? With a good scheme, cough cough 4-3, we can do things, right? Trey Flowers, when he was healthy, our defense played better. So we have a couple pieces, given a lot of them are going to be gone. A lot of them are going to be gone. We don't have to completely rebuild a team. We're not Jacksonville right now, right? We're not the Jets where we have literally no talent at all. We have Pro Bowlers. We have a lot of positions that are set for years to come because they're on rookie contracts or they just sign extensions. So once we kind of filter out a couple of those guys like Coleman and Trufant and all whatever, we have talent to work with,
Well, I don't even think we need to filter necessarily those. Like, we brought it. So our defensive coordinator is Glenn, right? Who's the DB coach, right, for the Saints, right? So they had a really good secondary, and like our secondary has talent, man. Like, we drafted Okuda. Supposedly he could be amazing. He has all the potential in the world. Trufant. I mean, I like Trufant when he was playing. He just needs to stay healthy. Coleman, I think he's still a great slot cornerback. Just don't put him on the outside, and then you're great. Owarie has shown some amazing flashes. He got burnt a couple times last year, but I think we were asking a lot of him, and he's still young. Huh?
I said with no pass rush. A lot of this.
Yeah, with no pass rush. Yeah.
They're covering longer than any other cornerbacks in the league, and they're still making some plays.
Yeah, Tracy Walker, people are really dogging Deron Harmon, but like he was really good at the beginning of the year. And then, like you said, no pass rush. Like, dude, we're facing really good teams. Like, we're facing the Packers twice a year. Like, it, like you're good. I don't know. I don't know. I think that the talent is there in the secondary. I think with Glenn, hopefully he could. I mean, we thought that with Undelin as well, and that didn't work. So, but hopefully Glenn will do something special. But look, Blue and Silver, he brings up a good point, and I've been seeing this a lot. He says that Jared Goff was told he's the Lions QB of the future, and people have brought this up because obviously Brad Holmes was there when they drafted him. So Brad Holmes traded for him. People are thinking that Brad Holmes really believes in Jared Goff. So, while we keep saying, oh, well, these 2 years are no big deal, we're going to eat up Jared Goff's contract and then maybe, cut him or whatever and focus on the QB of the future. Some fans think that Brad Holmes believes Jared Goff is the QB of the future and that the next 5 to 10 years are going to be Jared Goff-led Lions. What do you think about that, Andrew?
Listen, as someone who, okay, if you're going to be an intelligent person, you're going to help run an organization, you have to know when you're wrong, okay? And hopefully Brett Holmes knows that he's wrong, that Jared Goff isn't an elite level quarterback, okay? He's a serviceable quarterback. I don't care what anyone says. He is serviceable. He has had good seasons. He has had very good stretches where the offense is clicking. He's spreading the ball around to tight ends, backup players, all this stuff. I don't think that Brett Holmes is looking at this trade and is like, "Oh my
Are
God."
you still there, or am I? I'm sorry. Was I frozen, or were you frozen? Can you
I
say that
think,
last part again?
yeah. So basically, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, what I'm saying is Brad Holmes is looking at this, right? If you're going to be an intelligent person running an organization, you're looking and you're analyzing and you're seeing that I've drafted Jared Goff. He's shown me that he can be a serviceable quarterback. I'll take that cap hit. I'll take a third round pick for it to eat that cap hit, or even a first round. We don't know what was said behind closed doors. And I'll keep him for a couple years, and you never know. He does have potential. He really does. But even if he doesn't show out and isn't a top 10 quarterback, he's a serviceable quarterback. So I feel like Holmes will recognize that, and we'll see in these next few years. Everyone knows the cap hit's huge these first 2 years, but after that, it is literally zero. If he doesn't get anything done in these first 2 years, he's not getting an extension. If he does and he shows out, then he can play out his contract. You don't even have to extend him because he's already on a 4-year contract. So there's not really a lose in this scenario. Let's say Holmes, like I said, I mean, if he really does like him and Goff just plays amazing, then that's great. What did you lose? And we'll see. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that Holmes is looking at this and is like, yes, we have Goff for the next 4 years and we can extend him, blah, blah, blah.
I hope he's not thinking that way. As much as I want to give Goff like the benefit of the doubt, and if we could restructure his contract to be more team friendly, and for him to be a bridge quarterback, I mean, maybe he believes that, but I don't think the rest of Detroit believes that. So I think that'd be stupid. You know what I mean? I think that would just kind of be a bad move for you, because you put yourself in a position. You put yourself in a position to rebuild with these first round picks that you got. So why not completely rebuild? Like, why go with Jared Goff as the future? I don't think so, but who knows? You know what I mean? We don't really know Brad Holmes and what he really wants, in his vision. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I have something to address. So D-Hype is saying, Goff is a great short passer. Let this be known that Goff has a higher yard per attempt than Stafford. Okay? A whole yard more than him per attempt. And that's huge over a season. That may not seem like a lot, but if you're averaging 7 yards downfield compared to 6, that is a lot over the course of a year. So he does throw downfield, he might not be the greatest elite ball thrower like Stafford. Stafford's freaking amazing with the deep ball. We're not going to get that. But if you're able to drive down the field and you're accurate, that's not a problem. And Goff, I mean, he's not throwing a crazy amount of picks either. It's not like he's throwing Jameis Winston type interceptions. So, I mean, I just had to address that because a lot of people say, Goff's a short passer and this and that. But, I mean, he's throwing deeper downfield than Stafford, and he's also not throwing a lot of picks, which is a plus.
right. You're right. And Funky, you like, again, man, he brings up all the people that we are going to be able to be cut next year. And then he says, then Goff's the only bad contract. That's what I'm saying, man. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if they want to rebuild in their vision, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they have a vision. So if they want to rebuild in their vision, all of these contracts are going to be expiring. Goff is going to end up not expiring, but we could cut him in 2 years for minimal dead money. Look, like, we're just eating up this contract and we get this first round, essentially 2 first round talents. I think that's a great deal when you're in a rebuild. And, maybe in 3 years from now, maybe all of those guys are off our team. Jared Goff might be off our team. And we're looking at a completely raw team of young talent with a lot of maybe cap space available at that point for us to make some moves and for us to have a whole completely different identity. So, yeah, man, like, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I totally have to touch on this. This is why it's such a beautiful situation that we didn't get first round picks this year and stuff, is because it allows our coaching staff and front office to evaluate our entire team. Because we don't know what we have with Julian Okwara. We don't know what we have with a lot of different players. You give them a year before they have to invest all this draft capital, and it allows them to truly see where the holes are. Or, you look at the Rams, right? The Rams were 3-13 before Sean McVay. you don't know the type of talent you have when you have bad coaching. Okay. You plug in all these coordinators, you plug in all these coaches, and they have a year to truly evaluate the team and see what they have and what they can work with, and then take those two first round picks that we're getting and all that and invest it. That's awesome. That's exactly what you want. It would have sucked if you got all these picks this year because, one, we don't know what happened with all these college players because of COVID. Two, we don't know what we have with our team truly in a good scheme, So I think it's a win-win with how this played out, honestly.
Yeah, and like we haven't even touched on what this means for Stafford because honestly, a lot of us fans it's hard to just be a fan. Okay, at least for me, I haven't even talked about this at all. But Stafford to me, I know that a lot of Lions fans, you might be older fans, who have been through just more years than I have of disappointment. So Stafford to you might just be another quarterback. He's not to me. You know what I mean? Like when we drafted him, I was basically a young kid turning into a teenager, and he's been my quarterback my whole life. And I looked up to him as basically my hero, right? Like he was the sports icon I looked up to, basically my hero. Like seriously, like dead serious. Stafford's like my hero. So to me, I'm so happy for him to be able to go to a team that is not only a contender, but like I couldn't have picked maybe the 49ers, but like I couldn't have picked a better team for him to go to. Like a talent like Stafford's arm with Sean McVay's creative play calling and the weapons that they have there and the protection that they're going to give him and the running game that they have had under McVay in the past 3 out of the 4 seasons and the defense that they have there and the talent. Like I'm so happy for Matthew Stafford to have the opportunity to prove any haters wrong and to really cement his legacy as a great quarterback in this league, because there's a lot of people that don't believe he is because of his record and because of his play, postseason lack of accomplishments. So I'm so excited for him to see what happens. What do you think about that, man? What do you think about, first of all, when you heard about Stafford being shopped and the team's looking at him, where did you want him to go? And are you happy for him now that he landed on the Rams?
Oh, I'm so happy that you asked this question. Because myself being such a big Stafford fan, I mean, I've literally argued with people for countless hours defending this man. I mean, like, huge Stafford supporter. I am so happy that he's going to a true contender, right? You're looking at all the teams that every fan wanted Stafford to go to, and it was the 49ers, the Steelers, the Colts, right? What do all these teams have in common? They have very, very good teams, and they can make Super Bowl runs with Stafford, right? So I just have to touch on this really quick. People are saying, well, those first-round picks are going to be basically second-round picks. No matter what team we traded Stafford to, he was going to return late first-round picks. We all knew that. Colts, late first-round pick. 49ers, later first-round pick. Rams, late first-round pick. Steelers, late first-round pick. That's what was just going to happen, So for me, I'm super happy that, he went to a true contender that has a defense, has a run game, has a couple receivers, and a very creative head coach. I truly believe that he can elevate that team and make them Super Bowl contenders, right? They won a playoff game this year with Jared Goff with broken freaking thumb and some injuries across the board. They had to compete against the Packers, at their home to try and get to the next stage. And the Packers, I mean, we all knew that they were NFC Championship material. So the fact they competed with them for at least half the game shows you that with elevated quarterback play, they can make a true run, So I'm super excited. I mean, it's sad, obviously, as a fan. I would have loved Stafford to retire here and actually build a team around him. It is heartbreaking that in freaking 10, 11 years of this man playing in the league, we were never able to do that. But liberation is the word that I want Stafford to be surrounded with, because he's finally liberated from this team. I mean, he has broken his body, bones, concussion, all this stuff across the board for this team. And we were never able to give him anything. So I'm so happy that he's on a true Super Bowl contending team. What about you, man?
Oh, man, yeah, I'm with you 100%. I'm so happy for him. I know some people were saying we might have gotten a better deal with the the Washington team. Dude, I don't care, man. I don't want him to go to Washington or Carolina or one of these other teams. I want him to go to a contender and really show what he can do, and with Washington, no, man. Just I don't know what to tell you. Just no. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really wanted him to go to either the Colts because they know how to take care of a quarterback. They really do. And they know how to protect a quarterback and give him a run game. And they have so much cap room that it wouldn't even hurt them. And they could still build around him. I really think that, and they went to the playoffs with Phillip Rivers, man. Like, I think that they would be a great spot for him. I like the 49ers, him and Kyle Shanahan together. We saw what Kyle Shanahan was doing with Matt Ryan, who's Matt Stafford's buddy. And I think that Stafford would have loved to play with Kyle Shanahan. And for those of you who don't know, Kyle Shanahan went to the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan. That's when the Atlanta Falcons lost to the Patriots with that big comeback loss. So, yeah, I don't. And obviously, Kyle Shanahan went to the Super Bowl a year ago with Jimmy Garoppolo's bum ass. So I think that, with Stafford, it would be amazing. So I wanted him to go there as well, or the Saints, to succeed Drew Brees, or the Steelers to succeed Ben Roethlisberger. I really wanted him to go to one of these contenders. And I think the Rams might be the best spot. I think it's great. I'm so happy for him. I'm like, I can't tell you how happy I am for this dude. Like, seriously.
I mean, one thing I got to touch on that is the Rams definitely aren't the greatest suitor for Stafford, but they're among the top of them. I mean, if he went to Steelers, I have no doubt in my mind they're going to run the freaking AFC. Okay, that defense is allowing 18 freaking points a game. They have 3 good receivers. They have a good, decent run game when they try and use it, right? And the Rams are very similar, but the Rams still got to go through Seattle. They still got to go through the Packers. They got to go through the Saints, so there's more room for him to, fight through. But I feel like that, I mean, even with all that, with that defense, I feel like they could make a serious Super Bowl run, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Stafford fan. I'm saying that because what this man can do with less is short of amazing. You give him an elite cornerback that can actually try and stop a Devontae Adams or something, and you don't have, teams just putting up 40 points against you or bullshit face mask penalties or whatever. Stafford can make a run. He has nothing against him now. All he needs is maybe another offensive lineman or something to protect him. And I mean, they're golden.
Yeah. And like, they have a very short window right now because of their contract situation. So like, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and all these guys, they have them for the next like 2 years. And then it's going to be very difficult to keep that team together based on their contracts. So I think that it's a perfect opportunity for the Rams. They went and got a guy that they believe. Obviously, he's 33 years old. Obviously, he doesn't have a decade left. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he does. Who knows? But like, typically, quarterbacks only given his age, probably has a few more years left of elite play. So this is the perfect opportunity. He has a small window. The Rams have a small window. Stafford needs a Super Bowl to cement his legacy as one of the greats. The Rams and Sean McVay need a Super Bowl to show that they're not a bust organization, because they're trying to buy a Super Bowl. Like, we've seen it. They went out, they keep spending their first round picks. They paid big money for Sue a few years ago. They pay big money to all these big players. Nobody really knows how they're avoiding these the salary cap. I don't know how they're doing it. They have like 10 players on max contracts. I don't even know how it works, but I think it's a brilliant opportunity. The only problem that I have is that division is very tough, man. That's a tough division to fight in. So, and we already seen. Did you see Quandre Diggs' tweet? He's like,
No.
I guess I have to pick off number 9, man. That's what he said, man.
He tripping, dog. He ain't getting shit. You know what? What though? Real is one thing. You didn't really touch on is that after these 2 years with the Rams, he could easily leave and go to another team. So it's not like his career is ending with the Rams. His career could go on for 8 more years. You never know. And he could hit free agency,
especially if he does win a Super Bowl with the Rams. Can you imagine, like, if he hit, let's say this year, whatever they do, and then the next year they win the Super Bowl, and then Stafford's done with his contract and they're rebuilding because they don't have any money. Can you imagine a Super Bowl winning quarterback? It's Stafford. We know how good he is. Him hitting the free open market all the teams, like, again, a third of the teams are going to be going after him because a third of the teams don't have a franchise quarterback. So, man, like, that will be exciting. But, when you said, I hope that I was always hoping that he'd retire as a Lion, I still think he will, man. He better. At the end of his career, he better sign that 1-day contract, you know what I'm saying, to retire as a Lion. Like, there's no doubt in my mind he's retiring as a Lion. Like, his jersey is going in the rafters, you know what I mean? I don't care. What's up, J-Mo? Good to see you. All right, do you see any questions you want to address before we get out of here? It's already been hour 20. I don't even know how we've gone this long already.
Well, when it comes to Stafford, we can talk, baby.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, I'm not really seeing it. Everyone's pretty much just saying what Stafford's going to do, and that's the topic. And I truly believe that this man has. What did you just say, bro? After you said that, real send me in.
I missed it. What did he say?
He's like, after you said that, send me an invite. Which I'm assuming he means that he's gonna retire a Lion.
All right, I'll send you an invite.
Yeah. So I mean, my thing is Stafford still has time to play. If he can literally play through broken back and all this stuff, you put him on a good team, he gets hit less. He's having fun with the game again, stuff like that. I can see him playing till around 40, right? He finishes up his 2 years. Everyone's like, well, the Rams are in cap hell. You're damn right they're in cap hell because they're trying to buy a Super Bowl, which...
All right, J-Mo, I sent you an invite. Come in.
Yeah, after these 2 years, I fully can see Stafford leaving and going to a different team and trying to make a Super Bowl run, which I have no problem with. You see players do this all the time in other sports and even in this sport. I would love to see Stafford go to like the Steelers or something down the road, which they have a little bit more cap rooms, stuff like that. Just because you never know, next year the Rams could easily have to get rid of a lot of their star players because of the cap, situation. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, here's Jim. What up, bro?
Bro, what's good, man? When you said that, I'm like, this man real a fan after my own heart. This man said he said Stafford gonna retire a Lion. See, I haven't said it publicly, but I still been feeling like Stafford gonna go win his chips and he gonna be on some LeBron. He gonna come back. The Lions still gonna suck, and he gonna be like, look, man, sign me to a $10 million deal. I'm gonna chill with y'all for this year. It is what it is. I want to retire.
You think?
Like, I'm serious.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude. I think he's gonna sign a 1 deal. I don't think he's gonna tax us. None of that. It's a little $10 million deal, and just to play, bro. And who knows? Maybe the team would be good by then. Who knows what can happen?
Now you're getting me excited, man. Yeah, what if he?
Hey, let's not do that, baby steps.
Baby steps. We got an awful defense.
Hey, baby steps. Who knows? Who knows, man? Like that's crazy. But no, Andrew. I wanted him to go to the Steelers. I still feel like he's going to be in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. I don't know. I've just been seeing that for the last 3 years. I've just been feeling like he's going to be in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. I just don't know why. I just been sensing it for a long time. So, but their cap situation is worse than the Rams, actually.
I don't know.
They can't afford Stafford. If Stafford was on their cap right now, they couldn't afford him.
I think if Stafford does win a Super Bowl or go to a Super Bowl with the Rams, I think the Cowboys and Jerry Jones will throw all the money at him. I think they will pay whatever it takes to get Stafford, man.
Yeah, I hope that don't happen. I told people, some Lions fans are with me, some of y'all aren't. I told people I'm a Lions and Rams fan. Let this man go to the Cowboys. I will be a Lions fan. That's it. I can't. That's it.
And a Cowboys fan, I was gonna be like,
No. I'll probably still mess with the Rams just cause, but I will never root for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, hey, J-Mo, well, we were gonna get out of here, but just quickly, I don't know if you caught the beginning of our show, but you in the chat, you were kind of negative on the deal because of taking on Jared Goff's contract. Do you want to give your thoughts on that real quick?
My thing is, you didn't have to take his bum ass. Like, it's a reason why they wanted to give him away. The Rams couldn't find any teams to trade away Jared Goff to. And look, I'm gonna just be honest. If you're telling me Like we don't know. We can argue in a circle. You don't know what we did. We can do that all day. But let's just be real. If you telling me I could have got a first and like a third or something, which I think was possible, and I don't have to take on Jared Goff at all, his contract, his headache, all that crap, I would have just did that. You know, and you know the NFL circles are saying there was better deals on the table, but I feel like the Lions were doing. You know, they were trying to do Stafford a favor to send him to the Rams, but I don't know. Washington don't win a Super Bowl, but they definitely win a division if Stafford's there.
I mean,
they have a good team.
So
I don't want him to win a division. I want him to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
we all know, but like I don't want Jared Goff.
Yeah,
Jared Goof, as I call him.
Well, here's
I don't
the
want
thing,
him.
J-Mo. You're saying you would have taken one first and a third. So even if it was from a really good team as well, like obviously the Redskins, that like they might give us a significant pick in the future. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like they might, yeah, but like, yeah, so obviously the Rams, their picks are going to be lower because they're going to be a good team. But same with like the 49ers. So if you got a first round pick from like the 49ers and you know it's going to be a low first round pick, just like the Rams, and you just get one of those, you'd rather get that than have two of them and Jared Goff's contract?
I think I was talking to Andrew when I said, if we talking to the 49ers, I need players. Like, picks is like, y'all got too many good football players. Like, I'm that type of person. Like, give me one of y'all players in that first round pick, and then we can talk. But not like just that's what I'm talking about. Like I said, man, I have to ignore that Jared Goff is a Lion and just be happy about the picks because I can't deal with this right now. Like y'all, like I said, y'all don't know my takes on Jared Goff. Just think the quarterback you don't like the most. That's my take on Jared Goff. Like I do not like this guy.
Yeah,
and he didn't help himself no better in the playoff game. I gave him another chance. I was like, "Come on, Jared, show me something." He showed me nothing. like I gave him another chance this year to show me he was good, and I didn't see it.
Yeah. I think.
And my thing is like. It's just we don't have to take on that burden. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if you want, like we took on the burden, so we got the picks. There was a reason why.
Right.
But I would have been fine with not taking on that burden and still getting compensation. But obviously they wanted more pick, but now we got Jared Goff. Like,
yeah. So the reason why I think that Andrew and I are totally okay with it is because just the fact that since Stafford is going to be gone, we're going to be bad for 2 years regardless. So like if we're bad and rebuilding and, you know, taking on his contract, I mean, to me, it's really no difference. Like if we didn't take on his contract, you know what I mean? Like we're still going to be bad regardless for the next 2 years. At least we get another extra first round pick for the future. And then in 2 years, we could dump Goff like it never happened. And we got an extra first round pick. I don't see that.
That's on the bright side of things, but you got. I mean, you got to remember, you have to resign. Like I know you guys, y'all don't like paying anybody apparently, but if you don't sign Goff, let's say Goff don't sign Goff, and you just have Chase Daniel, I know that'll all make us cry all night. I know, but now you can pay Kenny Golladay. Now you can sign Romeo Cora. Now you can build the defense. But Why though? What do you mean? Why? Do you know how many teams? I'm not saying the Lions can do it. I'm not saying we're gonna be one of them teams. But you know how many teams just get started when they throw that young quarterback in there mid-season? I'm not talking about the beginning of the year. Last 4 games gets good, comes in next season, and the team is okay, and they're able to at least see a spark. With Jared Goff, that ain't gonna happen. Like I wouldn't want the young QB starting. Man, no, man. I just feel like this quarterback class. We messing up if we don't get one of these dudes.
Okay, I mean, yeah, if you're feeling that way about this class, then you know I can't blame you there. But I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think we're gonna be in rebuild regardless, and you know maybe you want to see a spark and so show a little bit of greatness with whatever quarterback we have. But I don't think it matters. And even if we get,
you would rather pay him than pay Golladay and Okora? Because now we're not gonna be able to resign these guys.
Look, in my opinion. Look, it's not even an opinion. With Stafford, with this team, I know Golladay was out, but with Stafford, this team went 5-11. All right. With Goff or whatever rookie quarterback you're going to bring in, they're not going to be that much better than Stafford that they take this team to the promised land. You know what I mean? Even with Golladay in, it's like we were trying to compete to make the wild card, and it wasn't even happening then. So, like, what are we going to do with in the next 2 years? with Galladay, with a rookie quarterback, nothing. You know what I mean? We're going to be competitive, maybe, whatever. But regardless, this is all for the future, man. We have five first-round picks in the next 3 years. Let's build that. And in 2 years, we'll dump these Patriot contracts. We'll dump Jared Goff's contract. We're going to have a lot of money when we have a lot of young talent that we just drafted. And at that point, we can really have a vision and what this identity of this team's actually going to be. It's not just going to be take out Stafford and plug in a new quarterback and now we're a good team again. No, hell no, dude. We got to rebuild this crap, man. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and see, that's why I call it wishful thinking. For one, I don't trust Brad Holmes. I think he's invested in Jared Goff. I don't think in 2 years, I don't think Jared Goff's going to be cut.
Oh,
I think he's still going to be here.
Problem.
Or two, that's why I want to that's why I want my insurance policy, aka a quarterback that I know that look, these guys, say whatever you want about their deficiencies, but if you develop them, there's no way they can be a bad quarterback. They're going to be great. So if I can develop one of those young guys, let them sit behind Goof, I'm fine. That's why I'm like, you gotta get your guy right now if you believe in them. But we know this team has a lot to build. My thing is, I want it to be a much better situation than Stafford. So let's just say if Stafford didn't play his first 2 years instead of getting hurt, and then he came on the team the third year. Our roster wasn't that good in 2011, but it was significantly better than the first 2 seasons, and we were able to make a playoff run. So we give this team 2 years to be built. And I'm not saying we're gonna be great, but maybe we win 9 games. There's 7 damn teams in the playoffs. So that I'm just thinking about that and these young QBs. That's why you sign in pieces, because at the end of the day, not saying we're about to be a good team. We already know what's going on. But when you know you're building with a bright future, it's good. But with Jared Goff, if you don't sign no quarterback behind Jared Goff, it's just like, what is your plan?
Yeah. I believe, listen, yeah, maybe it is wishful thinking, but I really hope that Brad Holmes doesn't believe that he's going to re-sign Jared Goff after these 2 years. I truly believe Jared Goff is gone.
Did you see those reports about Brad Holmes?
I don't care about that. You got to tell him that. What are you
No, this is why you have to care. Look, you have to care because he came from the Rams. That's why you have to care. Okay,
I really don't. Are you going to tell
Patricia brought in all of his Patricia brought in all of his guys. Bob Quinn brought in all of his guys. I'm just saying, this is his guy. He's from the Rams. This is his guy. I
guess.
You saw what the Rams owner said about Jared Goff. He's on the team for today. I'm like, he's on the team for right now. He's currently a member of the Rams. I was like, God damn. That's how we're supposed to be treating this man. He is currently here, and he will be the starting quarterback until we do something else. Jared Goff, welcome. That should be the convo.
The thing is that, dude, Detroit will literally eat Brad Holmes if we get to that 2 year point and Jared Goff is on the team. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Playing amazing. If you don't get rid of this man, Brad Holmes will literally be thrown on a freaking boat into
to Canada, bro.
You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen.
Exiled from the United States.
Yeah, this isn't LA, bro. This is Detroit. We were alive.
Yeah,
man. Look, okay. Because I don't think he's just gonna cut Goff like that. Unless he had, a young quarterback that looked really nice. But
2 years.
Right. But, 2 years from now, you better hope we 0-16 so we can get the first overall pick.
Here's
That's the only way you're gonna get a good QB.
In 2 years, if Brad Holmes does re-sign him, it better be for a vet minimum contract. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only way I'd be okay with him being a bridge quarterback for something like.
No, I'm gonna let's say. Let's say we go 8-8.
Say this
what just happened?
Breaking news: Stafford wouldn't play for New England.
That's what I'm talking about. Stafford. He's like, those bum ass receivers.
Any team besides the Patriots.
Bro, he was
like, I'm out with Patricia. Do not send me to them.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm about to pull a longest yard, and all my balls are going straight.
He like, y'all send me to the Patriots. I'm coming back to the Lions. What you talking about, Lions?
Yeah,
man. Man, I forgot what I was gonna say because that was some breaking news.
Bro, this man would retire on spot.
That's wild.
No, but with the Lions fans and Jared Goff, what I was gonna say, what if the scenario is we go 7-9, this year and suck, and we go 9-7 next year and go to the playoffs and lose. And he's like, well, Jared Goff did, he was okay in those games. And if you look at his stats, they were respectable. Resign. Resign. And then he's stuck here. And then we go 5-11 the next year. And then we go 6-10 the next year. And Brad Holmes is fired.
Well, honestly, though, J-Mo, like, Goff's contract is 4 years, so we wouldn't have to extend him. We would just, if that were the case, we would have him on. And
my point is he's going to be here more than 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but also you would draft a quarterback within the next couple of years anyways, and there would be a quarterback competition because regardless of how high you draft this rookie, he's not starting until he can beat out your starter. I mean, that's with any quarterback situation.
But that's the main reason why I want to draft a QB this year, because if you sleeping, Justin Fields and them boys taking your spot, and I'm going to love it. So, but when you got a guy that's like third round, super developmental, looking like David Blau, like he ain't gonna be able to do nothing for 2 years. Then he might be able to take Jared Goff's spot. I don't want that, man.
Washington, and we're gonna take their quarterback that they had in the playoffs.
Yeah. The problem with
I'd rather have him over Goff.
I don't know why people some people think, and there's people in the chat, they're like, you create a Mahomes and a Rodgers by letting him sit for a year. It's like, you honestly believe Mahomes is as good as he is because he sat behind Alex Smith for one season?
I absolutely believe that.
What? Boy,
I'm serious. I absolutely
look maybe it improved his game marginally, but the talent that this dude has is his talent. You can't tell me that he's a phenom because of sitting behind Alex Smith.
It's not because of, but you're always better when you sit.
I agree. It's a
documented thing. You're always a better quarterback when you sit.
I totally agree with that. But people make it sound like if you do it, you're going to get a Mahomes. Or a Rodgers. No. You have to draft a Mahomes and a Rodgers.
Imagine if Joe Burrow was able to sit this year, he would not be injured, and that's the thing. I remember Luke talked about it, and I actually ended up looking it up. There's no quarterback that's been drafted number 1 overall or high in the first round that started a full 16 games without some type of injury. They always even if they played a full season, they still are hurt somewhere with some type of injury. I remember Kyler Murray was getting banged up, but he was healthy for most of the season, his rookie season. So they always get hurt. Look what happened to Joe Burrow. Imagine if he was able to sit. His leg is just snapped into a million pieces. Now I'm not saying that will happen because our quarterback can start for us after 4 years of sitting and get his leg snapped. Now I'm not going there. I'm just saying it's such a less chance of Joe Burrow snapping his legs if you can rebuild his O-line for 2 years.
J-Mo, the only problem with that logic is that you're basically saying because Jordan Love is sitting behind one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time that he's going to be a beast.
No, I'm saying he will be better than he would be if he started.
That's what J-Mo's saying.
That's
Andrew,
what I'm saying.
That's what some fans are saying, though, Andrew. And I disagree with what some fans are saying. But J-Mo, I think exactly what you said is correct, man. Definitely, it does improve their play for sure and makes him a better quarterback. But to pretend like Rodgers is the person he is only because he sat the first couple of years, that is not true, dude. Rodgers is a beast and a generational talent first, and then on top of that, he gained experience and the game probably slowed down for him enough to really show what he can prove, how good he is. But Rodgers was Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes. Don't get that twisted. Just because they sat behind somebody, they didn't become the greatest quarterbacks in the league right now.
Right.
My thing is with young QB, you either need to sit or you need to get drafted by a stacked team. Because when you're on a great team, you get hurt. Let's look at Josh Allen. First year, the Bills were still good just because they were good, but he was terrible. Second year, he improved. So my thing is, I don't think we need 4 years to rebuild a team for a quarterback. Man, we need a couple years, and the team would be good enough to put in the young QB. I don't want to wait 6 years rebuilding the team. All right, finally, let's throw him in there because now we got a Super Bowl contender.
So that's what we're saying, though. So if Brad Holmes, I understand what you're saying, though, about Brad Holmes maybe wanting to keep Jared Goff after these 2 years. But if he doesn't, then that's exactly what we're doing. Because these next 2 years, we're going to build with the draft capital we got. We could cut Jared Goff, then get a quarterback. Or we could get a quarterback now, let him sit under Jared Goff for a couple years, and build around and let him, have the game slow down in his mind and whatever, and have him jump onto the team in 2 years once we're able to use that draft capital that we've had. So that's another reason why, like, I think this is a fantastic trade, because in 2 years we're going to be ready. We're not ready right now.
No, but see, my thing is, and what we were talking about earlier, if you don't get that quarterback this year, I'm gonna be pessimistic. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna believe he's just gonna find.
Here's another thing, J-Mo.
You gotta get, like, I'm cool with all of that, but you gotta get, like, if you pass on one of these, I will never forget his team if you pass up on one of these dudes. Now, if he becomes a bust, I won't say nothing, but don't do it.
J-Mo, this is what we were saying earlier. The Detroit Lions podcast with Chris and Case, they brought up a really good point. They said that around this time last year, in end of January, when we were looking at mock drafts for the draft, the analysts were predicting the Lions with the 3rd overall pick to draft Bradley Anae with the 3rd overall pick. I'm not shitting you. And we ended up passing on that dude in the 5th round for Jason Huntley, a guy that we cut from our practice squad. So to me, like, the analysts and whatever they think, and this happens every year, they're dead wrong from the majority of the top 10 picks in the beginning of the scouting to the end, because they haven't seen the combine, they haven't seen the pro days, they haven't seen anything. They haven't seen Senior Bowl, anything. And then once we get to the final few weeks is when we get a pretty clear picture of where everybody's going to draft. And there'll be, differences and whatever.
So you trying to tell me somebody going to fall or something? Like,
no. What I'm saying is, as much as we want to declare that these quarterbacks are amazing already, dude, like, we don't know. And even next year's, like, people are saying already that there's no good quarterbacks for next year. Yeah, maybe there's not a Trevor Lawrence, a guy that sticks out clearly as the guy. But that's not to say that there's not the next Tom Brady or somebody else in next year's draft.
It's not. You're going to end up with Baker Mayfield. And that's what I'm saying.
But
who besides Trevor Lawrence right now? How do you know these guys? How do you know Zach?
No, okay. So I was gonna ask you if you guys watch college football a lot, because this is how I determine if a quarterback is gonna be good or not. Do you watch college football a lot?
I mean, I won't come out here and lie and be like I'm an analyst. Yeah, I totally watch every game. No, I don't.
Okay,
but I do my homework once the names come out.
Right.
Yeah. So when I'm watching quarterbacks that I'm looking to play on the NFL level, I'm looking at NFL reads, NFL throws, and throwing ability and things like that. The things like Zach Wilson can do with his arm are just like, it's not normal. Like when you, like, some of the throws he's making is throws he's going to be making in the NFL on a consistent basis, regardless of whatever situation he is or whatever. That's why a quarterback like Justin Fields, I don't necessarily believe in, because I don't see that type of arm with Justin Fields. I see like a Dak Prescott, but he's a little slightly better.
Listen,
and a lot of people like Trey Lance too, but yeah.
I love that you brought up Zach Wilson instead of Trey Lance and Fields, is because Zach Wilson is going 100% in the top 3. Trey Lance and Justin Fields are going to be those quarterbacks that we have to pick from. And I don't like them that much.
Well, I know. I mean, you didn't see my tweet. I already said if I'm the Lions, I'm trading up and getting Zach Wilson. I said go get your guy now, because that's how I feel.
So what do you think we'll have to give? Do you think we're going to have to give the draft capital we just got in order to trade up? What do you think we're going to have to give?
I mean, you're not about to like what I'm about to say, but if it was to get Zach Wilson, I probably would give up one of those first if it was to get Zach Wilson. That, like, you're not gonna like it, but I believe in him. Who knows? He might be a bust. But right now, I think, man, bro, if you protect him, it's a wrap. Like, he can just throw the ball differently. Like, it's just not normal.
If you would give up one of those firsts that we got from the Rams, would you give up our first from next year? Not the Rams, but ours. Would you give up our first from next year and next
year? We can talk to I'm be like, yeah, these Rams picks is real nice though. like every time they talk about next year, I'm gonna be like, but these Rams picks, like, yeah, because next year we probably gonna have a top 10 pick. That's gonna kind of hurt,
right?
But
thing is
if it's one of the Rams' first round picks, I would do it. Like seriously, maybe not next year's though. I don't know.
That ain't never happening. He's going to go.
No, stop crushing my dreams. Stop crushing my dreams. We get Zach Wilson.
Bro, like I'm telling you, bro, we're not getting Zach Wilson because we're not getting the second overall pick. And if we do, we might as well give all that we gave for Stafford literally to get him. And then we're probably going to have to add on top of that because the second overall pick is worth way more than our seventh. More.
Think about what Chicago gave up to get Trubisky.
Right.
Yeah, I know. But calm it down a bit. Trey, like, no, I'm serious, man. Because like, I swear, I don't know why. I'm just weird sometimes when I watch. But Zach Wilson made this one throw where I was just like, okay, yeah. Like I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't need to see nothing. I don't need to see you play no more. Like you made that throw, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay. So Trey Lance and Justin Fields, I think they need more development. But Trey Lance could be very good, and I would much rather him be to sit behind because he has a lot to be. He has a lot to development, but he could be a Stafford level of talent when it comes to quarterback. I'm serious. I'm not saying that lightly. So very, very talented. But yeah, Zach Wilson is the one I'm drooling over, bro. Because we can't get Trevor Lawrence. Because to me, Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence are the two guys that are just super, super special. And who knows? We could be wrong about them someday. But that's what I see.
So let me ask you, JMO. Obviously, every single person knew Trevor Lawrence is going first overall. That was not even a question. But where was Zach Wilson before this year? You know, like, did you expect him to go second, third overall? You know, like, I don't think anyone was really looking at this kid and was like, oh my God, like this guy is it? You know, he's right below Lawrence.
You having fun with that, huh?
That's
no, but the thing is, I would say, yeah, I didn't know about Zach Wilson, but I did know about Fields. You know, I did know about Lance. So you don't know about everyone. Yeah, Zach Wilson will pop up. Patrick Mahomes will pop up out of nowhere, you know, but you knew about Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? You knew about Lamar Jackson. Like, right. You knew. Like, yeah, Baker Mayfield, you'll draft him. So I just feel like it's like 5 quarterbacks in this draft. Like, it's probably some quarterbacks I'm not even thinking about. I'm just looking at the talent. I'm just looking at the developmental talent. I just feel like the quarterback position is just getting better over time somehow. I don't know how, but it's just getting better. And some of these guys are going to be real good if they have some teams around. So, you know, and plus, I don't trust Brad Holmes to get the Zach Wilson next year. I trust him to get the dude that's not him.
Hey, that's why we got Dorsey. That's why we got Dorsey.
Hey, maybe because now Brad Holmes was a part of getting Jared Goff. So, and I don't care if he'd have made this decision. He should have been like, no. Like, he should have been like, no, I'm against this, and I'm walking out this conference room. But he didn't do that. He was all on board.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it too, the fact of like, you know, all these 4 quarterbacks, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's a quarterback heavy draft. Once these guys are taken, there's not going to be that many teams that are going to need quarterbacks, or at least not many teams willing to draft a quarterback next year, which means that we're open up for business too, right? If one of those Zach Wilsons pops up, one of those Joe Burrows pops up, more than likely that's ours. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not worried about the quarterback spot right now. I want to draft a quarterback, but not this year. For all those reasons.
What do you mean that's ours? What do you mean, though? What do you mean?
Look, all right, you look at the teams, right? A lot of teams have their starting quarterback, right? There's a lot of teams that have their starting quarterback. There's very few that don't. And then 4 of those teams
Did I break off?
Quarterbacks. No, I can hear you. 4 of those teams that need quarterbacks are getting them this year in the first round. Fields is going first. Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, all these guys are going, you know, so how many teams are really going to need quarterbacks next year?
So you're trying to say we going to end up getting the best quarterback prospect next year anyways, what you think or something? That's where you're going with this?
We could probably get one of the top 2. Yeah. You know, and like I said, like you look at a lot of these teams, a lot of them don't need quarterbacks, you know, they have their starter for many years to come, or at the very least they invested so much that they're not going to invest a very high pick again in another quarterback a year later.
I think
that
is wishful thinking. That is wishful
I I don't disagree with nothing you said if you feel that way. You know, I'm not gonna like try to combat that argument. I'm gonna just tell you this. It's kind of like this with past wide receiver draft. When it's quarterback drafts, I'm saying that in quotations right now. It's like this this year it's gonna be some great wide receivers. Next year it's gonna be some great wide receivers. But this past year, it ain't gonna be nothing like it. And that's what I feel like with some of these quarterback drafts. And this is one of the ones where I'm like, this is gonna be one of the years. Because like I said, you can get the loaded draft and then you can get a Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold draft, and with Lamar at the end. And you can come next year and you get Kyler Murray's the only good quarterback. Like, must be forgetting. Is it another good quarterback from Kyler Murray's draft that was drafted in the first?
I don't know.
No, right. Like, and I don't want to be the team that has to get Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the tean that can get the third guy. I feel like this year we can get the third guy and we can still Josh Allen. We can still get the third guy because it was Trubisky, Watson,
or something,
and then Mahomes, and then they got the third guy was Josh Allen, right? Or am I wrong? I don't. Yeah. So
no,
got the Bills got the third guy. That's what I'm trying to get this year. I don't want to have to hope to get Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think the Lions are going to do anything I want them to do. So I think we take an O lineman and wide receiver. I've said that before. I think we take an O line and wide receiver, and I'm gonna be sick.
Right. But I just personally, I will never be mad for our team drafting someone that we need. If they take an offensive tackle, it's not my first pick, but I'm not going to be mad they invested in the trenches. If they take a linebacker, I'm not going to be mad. They take a D lineman, I'm not going to be mad because we need all of that. But if we take a quarterback, given the Goff situation, then that's going to kind of piss me off.
No, I feel like taking a quarterback is like telling Goff you ain't shit. Right, and we want to let you know. Maybe it'll light a fire under him or something. And to be honest with you, I was 100% against a receiver, but now that we got Goff, he's gonna need a lot of help. Get him a receiver, or it's gonna be real bad.
No.
I'm sorry, Goff. Goff need help, bro. Who was Goff? Goff need help, dog. He need a receiver to carry him.
That doesn't matter. He's not getting it done with receivers anyway.
Man, some Lions fans on the positive side, they think he can be better than what he is. So go get him a receiver.
That's why we invested.
Wins to 8 wins or what? No, man. Come on.
I've already said Hawkinson's probably gonna be in the Pro Bowl again this year. But he need more than Hawkinson. Like Hawkinson's gonna be the guy because he's gonna be the only person Goff can throw to. But you need more than Hawkinson. So
Sanu. I heard Hines Ward wants to be our wide receivers coach. I'll throw him a contract too. Fuck,
bro, you better get that man some receivers, bro, or it's gonna be a long season.
That's fine. Let it be long, man. Let it be a long season. We're building.
No, I don't like long seasons, man. I just got done with 3 of Patricia long ass seasons after some great seasons with Caldwell. I'm tired of long seasons.
Let me tell you, I'm willing to take veteran minimum wide receivers and protect Jared Goff. Give him time.
This man do not care.
Give him time to make his reads. We can get the receivers in time. We don't have to overpay or overdraft for receivers. I think that there will be late receivers we can get or receivers in free agency if we want, man. We don't need to make first-round draft pick on a receiver. No, man. We have other spots to make this team great. We need to build from the inside out.
All I'm going to say, with Stafford, this offense was fine. It ain't fine no more. You got to go get a lot more. You need way more weapons. Way more. If you want to even try to compete in some of these games. Jared Goff's an average quarterback, but
I don't care.
He's going to need some people.
Hold up. I'm going to repeat again another point that the Detroit Lions podcast with Chris and Case made. They said, and this is a fact. This isn't just, an opinion. We, on average, our defense let up more points than the highest scoring offense in the league scored on average. That means if you play the average game, if we had the best offense in the whole league this year, we would have still lost every game on average. That's how shitty our defense is. It doesn't matter how many wide receivers you have. A Jared Goff-led offense is not going to be the number one offense in the league. Especially with we don't have that great of a run game. We don't have that great of a protection to protect him. I don't.
So you blaming me for not wanting to watch a terrible Lions team every Sunday, bro? Like, look, only way we can win games. My thing is the only way we can win games is scoring touchdowns. So get Jared Goff as much.
Bro? What are you talking?
Get Jared Goff as much. Like, it don't have to be a wide receiver, but I said I'll be okay if they drafted one. I wouldn't be pissed because I just understand you have to get him as much help as he can possibly get. Because our defense is not gonna,
Nah, man. I think we need to improve the defense, like, more than anything. Like, because, like I just said, it doesn't. Even if we're scoring more touchdowns, we could have been the best offense in the fucking league last year, and it didn't matter. Like, we're still gonna lose a lot of games because our defense is that bad. Like, how you really want?
Well, I feel like Patricia made our defense like just a couple steps worse than it actually is. Like, they're ranked 32nd, but I think they're like 25th. I'm not saying that's great, but I'm just saying I don't think they were 32nd. I think they're like 25th. We trying to get them to 19th. Like baby steps.
Yeah. Steve-O says it's not a defensive player worth taking in the top 10. All right. I mean,
yeah.
All right, that's fair.
I would be shocked, though. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen all offense go.
If that's true, then
no, I guarantee you that Kwity Paye end up going in the first round. They love Michigan players and they love to hype them up. So I've been saying this, and Michigan fans hate when I say it, but I'm a Michigan fan. And now Kwity Paye is a beast. I'm not saying he's not, but he'll go in the first round. He's a monster, but he's not like a top 10 monster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look, if that's the case and we do go offense, fine. But I want like the majority of our picks to be defense, at least, or at least defensive line, offensive line. I think if you really secure the trenches there, it makes a significant difference. Like I don't know. You look at the 49ers and all the talent that they have on that D line, and you're just like, damn. Or the Rams. Like, look at the Rams. Like, how
I don't disagree. I think right now it's a disconnect between the fans and the coach. I mean, not the coach and the GM. We're thinking like, yeah, fuck Jared Goff. He's trash. Don't build around him. But are they thinking that?
I think they are, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we think. We think that they are, but I'm not convinced. I'm gonna have to see.
Why'd we bring in Dorsey then? Like, to bring in Jared Goff? No, man.
It's to make sure you have a good balance between.
No, it's kind of a philosophy. You're trying to be the best team you can be every year. So that is kind of that type of philosophy. It's not. So I could see them getting pieces to help out Jared Goff so they could win games. They got to sell something to the ticket holders.
But Dorsey's been involved in so many new quarterbacks coming onto teams. I just think that we brought him in to evaluate the quarterback talent, especially after this COVID year. We can't really evaluate it the same way. There's no combine. We're going off of effing pro days where everybody, breaks the 40-yard record, you know what I mean? Because the times aren't accurate. Nothing's accurate, you know what I mean? Like, it's not standardized. The teams do it. So the teams are going to highlight what that player does the best. So it's going to look like every damn player coming out of this draft is going to be a Pro Bowler, you know what I mean? Because there's no standard anything. So it's going to be a tough year. I think we brought in Dorsey to draft the quarterback. And if we don't do it this year, then next year or whatever. But I don't know. But, hey, we've been on for 2 hours. We've been on for too long. So, guys, it's been an awesome experience talking to you guys right now. It's therapy to come on here and talk, especially after the Stafford trade. At the end of the day, I'm happy for Stafford that he's on a contender now. I'm happy for the Lions' future because we have some draft capital that we can make some noise with. But thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys have made this really fun, really, really fun. The chat was blowing up the whole time. JMO, why don't you say your piece to the people in the chat?
I mean, I'm happy about Stafford getting traded to a great team. I'm happy that we got a lot back. I'm disgusted and depressed about Jared Goff. Especially if Jared Goff keeps on from drafting a quarterback this season in this specific draft, yeah. But other than that, I don't got that much else to say besides that. We'll see what we do, because I really don't know what direction this team is going in. Like, this team is really like up in the air and a crapshoot right now for this whole offseason. But man, you just had to get Jared Goff. I'm telling you, I bet you the Rams was on their knees begging, like, please take him, please. Shout out to real Andrew, man. I'm telling you, I know they were begging for him. Man. Apparently, they gonna say some Sean McVay fell in love with Matthew Stafford. Well, yeah, it's not hard to fall in love with Matthew Stafford. I'm pretty sure every coordinator would love Matthew Stafford. Who's not in love with him? I'm sure Bruce Arians is in love with him too, and Andy Reid. So like, I was like, but like, nah, Sean McVay was like, if you don't get me this quarterback.
It shows how much respect actual professionals have in this league, players, coaches, GMs, the respect they have for Stafford, and that they don't look at the team win-loss record for, indication of how good a player is like Stafford. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a third of the teams were trying to trade for him and in deep talks. I appreciate that there was all these very, very interesting deals on the table and that we went with the Rams. I love it. But guys, before we go, I just thought about this. And what if this scenario happened? What if this year the Lions won a playoff game with Jared Goff and the Rams did not win a playoff game with Matthew Stafford? Bro.
I mean, I wouldn't even care if Stafford got a Super Bowl. I'll let the Lions fans hold that over Stafford's head, and I'll just hold the Super Bowl over their head.
No, like let's say Stafford did not win a playoff game with the Rams and Jared Goff won.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! Don't talk about that's not gonna happen, man. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. No, that would be the worst thing to ever happen. But it's not gonna happen.
All right, Andrew, why don't you say bye to the people in the chat?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Appreciate all you guys' comments on everything. It's always fun, especially, now we all knew Stafford was leaving, right? It was a matter of time. I'm happy we got some picks from him and didn't just let him walk. And, there's a lot to be optimistic about, whether you're pro quarterback this year, whether you're pro defensive player, wide receiver, whatever. We got hella draft capital now, 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years. That's how you rebuild a franchise. So pretty excited.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody, thank you for sticking with us. It was a really great show. It was awesome to have your guys' involvement. Andrew and I are going to try and be more active. We've just been so busy with what's been going on in this pandemic. I know Andrew's work has picked up significantly because of that. And, I've been super busy as well. So, sorry that we haven't been more active. Thanks to everybody in the DSA. Subscribe to everybody in the DSA if you haven't already. And we are out.